The 32-year-old woman killed in Charlottesville on Saturday has been identified as Heather Heyer, Virginia Gov. Terry McAuliffe said Sunday. Heyer was killed after a car rammed into a crowd of demonstrators protesting against white supremacists. Previous story, published at 9:55 a.m. Each person died when a car plowed into a crowd following a dispersed gathering of white nationalists and counter-protesters in Charlottesville. Shortly before the attack Saturday, fistfights and screaming matches erupted between counter-protesters and white nationalists protesting the removal of a Confederate monument. The clashes led to the cancellation of scheduled protests, sending demonstrators from both sides marching on nearby streets. A few hours later, a car slammed into a throng of counter-protesters. Counter-protesters met white nationalists and other right-wing groups at the site of Saturday's Unite the Right event hours before the rally was set to start. Clashes broke out and police began to disperse crowds. Local officials declared the rally an unlawful assembly and Virginia Gov. Terry McAuliffe declared a state of emergency. About 2 hours later, a gray Dodge Challenger rammed into a crowd of counter-protesters walking down a street in downtown Charlottesville. The driver slammed the car in reverse at high speed and left the site of the crash. He was arrested later that afternoon. A 32-year-old woman was killed in the car ramming incident, Charlottesville Police Chief Al Thomas said. A total of 19 others were also hurt, including 5 people still in critical condition Sunday, a spokeswoman for the University of Virginia Medical Center said. 2 Virginia State Patrol troopers died when a helicopter crashed in a wooded area near Charlottesville after monitoring Saturday's events. The pilot, Lt. H.J. Cullen, 48, and Trooper Burker M.M. Bates, who would have turned 41 on Sunday, were killed. Authorities are investigating the cause of the crash. City officials say at least 15 others were wounded in events associated with the scheduled rally. The driver, James Alex Fields Jr., 20, of Maumee, Ohio, is being held at a Virginia jail on suspicion of second-degree murder, malicious wounding and failure to stop in an accident that resulted in death, said Superintendent Martin Coomer with the Albemarle Charlottesville County Regional Jail. Fields' mother, Samantha Bloom, told CNN affiliate Toledo Blade, her son told her last week he was going to an alt-right rally, but she was not involved in his political views. CNN's attempts to reach Bloom were unsuccessful. The Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have launched a civil rights investigation into the deadly crash. 3 other men were arrested Saturday. One of them faces a charge of carrying a concealed handgun and the other is charged with disorderly conduct. The third man, originally from Virginia, was arrested on suspicion of assault and battery. Federal authorities launched a civil rights investigation hours after the incident. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said U.S. Attorney Rick Mountcastle is leading the investigation. The violence and deaths in Charlottesville strike at the heart of American law and justice. When such actions arise from racial bigotry and hatred, they betray our core values and cannot be tolerated, Sessions said in a statement. Justice will prevail. Devon M. Sayers reported from Virginia, and Nicole Chavez reported and wrote from Atlanta.